Okay, so we've had a little bit of tech complications this morning. The first one didn't work out how I had anticipated, so we will have to adapt for the summit. And my apologies on the limited testing I had done led me to believe that we were okay when turns out we're not. So I'm going to double shot this so we can do a proper watch party at the actual scheduled timeline for people, because one of the topics that we're covering today is showing up for yourself. And that means if you've scheduled the time, then I want to honor that and I want to help you honor yourself. So let me just dive straight into it. One of the reasons why the Self Care Summit matters so much to me. Have you ever had a friend that's bailed on you, where you were counting on somebody to be there and they let you down? How many times do we do that to ourselves? How many times do we set commitments or goals and then allow everything else, working late, the dishes, the kids, binge watching useless things that don't truly serve us? How many times do we let all of that get in the way of taking care of ourselves? So when I talk about showing up for yourself, I mean actually following through for yourself. That means showing up and doing for yourself what you said you were going to do. So we in the Self Care Summit, we're talking about filling your own cup first and making sure that you honor what your body needs, what your heart needs, what your soul needs at a given time, and adapting to what that means, what that is. It also means finding a way to check in with yourself to figure out what it is that you need in that moment. So the goal is to build a bigger toolbox of, of different tools that you can tap on at any given time. So in showing up for yourself, we're talking about being your own best friend. We're talking about self-love is not self-indulgence. We're looking for ways to stop bribing ourselves to push through and pull through and actually find ways that are nourishing and taking care of ourselves. Um, Again, going back to be your own best friend as a concept, have you ever stopped to consider how toxic we are to ourselves? If you ever stop and listen to that voice inside your head, apparently 60,000 thoughts a day, how many of those are negative? How many of those are self-deprecating? How many of those are limiting? Um, in showing up for yourself, we're asking you to create moments of stillness, moments of awareness, whether it's a pep talk in the shower, a daily journaling ritual, the bright tunes while you're working out, or meditation. Whatever works for you, there's no judgment, only options with us. If you don't take the time to listen, you don't know where you stand. So we invite you to develop those protocols for yourself. And again, we will be exploring different tools throughout the summit. But today, right now, start with showing up for you. Again, whether you can't seem to find the time because your days are too crazy and too full, take that couple minutes while you're in the shower to look at your day, to look at what you have planned and what you're excited about. Take a moment to catch your breath and feel your body, feel your heart, listen to what's going on within. Um, be open to hear and truly accept the praise, admiration, and love you get from other people. You know, we are so quick to dismiss moments of gratitude or appreciation from others, finding a way to self-deprecate and put it down, rather deflect it rather than absorb it. Absorb the love you hear from other people and build a little warm and fuzzy file that you can tap into when you need. Showing up for yourself can also mean focusing on and harnessing your passion, your purpose. Figure out what ignites you and how to spend a little bit more time there. Challenge self-sabotage in your circle. When you hear other people self-sabotage or self-deprecate, challenge them on that and challenge them on where it's coming from. They say that we are the culmination of the 5 people we spend most time with. If self-sabotage and self-deprecation is constantly around you, you're more likely to embody that, and that's going to become one of your internalized voices that challenges you and puts you down. Know your history. Focus on your foundational wins. In my coaching practice, foundational wins are something that I work with a great deal. Start with all of the times you overcame things that felt insurmountable, whether it's still going to work, struggling with depression, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whatever your challenge is, whatever you've beat it more times than you have not. That's why you're still here. Look at those wins and embody all of those successes rather than focusing purely on the failures and the obstacles. In showing up for yourself, it's about consistency. It's about doing the little things that get you closer to where you want to go. And don't start with a crazy overarching plan to change the world. Start with baby steps. There's a premise of baseline actions. Take baby steps regularly, and those will yield stronger benefits and longer term victories as well. So whether that's walking 5 minutes a day to be able to get to a stronger workout, don't start with 30 minutes. Start with 5 minutes for 30 days. And on those wins, you can build more. It becomes like a platform that you can just constantly keep adding to. Showing up for yourself also means acknowledging competing desires. What's your payoff? You say you want to lose weight, but you also want that extra glass of wine. Figure out what your priorities are and how you can work towards multiple goals at the same time with those small actions, with those small daily choices of intentional living. Also consider that when you have a bad day and you didn't necessarily hit all of your targets, you were not a failure. Today was a challenging day. Forgive yourself, find compassion and kindness, and allow yourself the grace to move forward. It's not in one single failure that you yourself are a failure. The same way you would give somebody else that compassion and forgiveness if they had a bad day or snapped out of nowhere. Most of us can find that compassion and let it go and move on. On those days where you're not showing up, try to figure out why. Consider what you're telling yourself that is preventing you from actually delivering on what you say matters to you. And for many of my coaching clients, it's a deep-seated doubt that they are worthy of love or that they are worthy of success. So just in case you need to hear this, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of resources. You are worthy of attention. You are worthy of care. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Your presence can teach other people. I'm not saying don't protect yourself. I'm not saying put all of your guts and demons out there for everybody to pick on. But trust that you are valid and you matter. And the more you start accepting that, the more you can actually truly show up for yourself. If you're not sure where to start, because a lot of us aren't, start with little things. Schedule it. Commit to it. Again, whether you want to start with 2 minutes in the shower or a daily affirmation to remind yourself that you are worthy of love and worthy of success, do so. If you want to start with a daily journaling practice, do so. Whatever it is, wherever you want to start, commit to it and stick to it. On sticking to it, in my opinion, accountability is a huge factor. I know when I started a small business many moons ago, I had accountability days where there was a group of women that got together on Wednesdays to state goals and hold themselves accountable. because when it came to it, I didn't want to get on that call and say I didn't do it for XYZ reason. That accountability to an external source until you can develop it for yourself can be incredibly beneficial. That's one of the reasons why we've built in a community with the Self-Care Summit. Consider how it might feel once it's done. Not what you will have accomplished, but how it will actually feel, because that really becomes your motivation. I show up for myself because I know that I matter. I feel loved when I take the time to change my sheets and get into a freshly made bed. Those things are ways that I love myself the same way I would care for my family, my friends, or my partner. Create a non-negotiable. Create a daily action that you take for yourself. Whether that, depending on where you are in your journey, is just taking 2 minutes in the shower to consider what you have ahead and what you're excited about, or at the end of or throughout the day trying to find your top 3 moments. All of these little actions start to rewire how you approach life and where you spend the most of your energy. You matter, and you can only start truly accepting that when you start living that. So show up for yourself, because your journey is just as important as everybody else's. Now, over the course of the summit, we will be covering grounding, feeling, transformation, loving, expression, intuition, and transcendence, in that order. This is designed as a daily yoga and meditation to get you to connect to your body and connect to yourself, as well as about 2 hours of lecture series every day. Now, those lecture series, again, on the same spectrum, will cover nutrition, sexual energy and connection, emotional awareness, acceptance, setting boundaries as a healthy self-preservation, not as being difficult, financial awareness, connection to desires, connection to self and intuition, conscious communication, as well as connecting to all things. So join us on this journey. We have a couple free sessions today, but most of the fun is going to happen within the Soul Care community over at selfcare-summit.com. Thanks.